All right, good afternoon and welcome to our next budget hearing. Today's date is 9/25. We're getting a little late start. We had some technical issues and such. So we left it off our last budget hearing, knowing that we had a little extra money to play with. But one of our asks of the auditor's office was to go back through and validate what the insurance changes are in the communications department, because we know that one was going to have some changes, and then also to revisit lit and those changes. So I guess if we want to start at communications, so we can make sure our books are all updated. Communications, what is that, page 3?
Okay, so we were looking at page 3 and on line 173. If we just do a 2% increase based off of the 2023 amount, then that would make the total needed in 2024 $331,500. Therefore, that's a reduction on that line of 23,500.
You said 331,500.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any questions on communications and that adjustment?
You have a new total?
Oh, that's a good call.
And do it in here, hang on.
2,057,127.
Yeah. Matt and I are coming up with 2,357,127. All right,
2,357,127.
correct. Oh, that's what Matt and I came up with.
That's what I got.
Cool. All right, let's move on to lit. Now, this one, I did have a chance to talk to Tanya, and unfortunately, this did not decrease. It went the opposite direction. So I'm assuming it's the individuals who are in the lit funds are taking different insurance.
That is the case, with one of them for sure.
Okay.
They are on the transfer for tomorrow, and that is the prosecutor's office. And she sent an email to me. I should have made you all a copy, I'm sorry. Anyways. What? That makes it fun.
I think someone's on the phone in the hallway.
Oh, okay. So anyway, she did send an email just stating the reason why, but basically they're on the transfer tomorrow and one of the receptionists is moving to investigator. Well, that person is adding a child. So therefore that opens the other position up, and she wants to allow for like family, just to make sure that there's enough there. So that's where her increase came from. So that
On page 68.
1170, Department 137. That amount is going to increase to 102,743.
What line item?
We're in lit on the prosecutor. So this is page, what, 68?
173.
Where it says. All right, and so what was that number again? I'm sorry.
So it was at 78,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to change to 102,743.
Okay. the number, Matt,
2598760.
for lit public safety prosecutor?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was all lit. Sorry, 725, 529.
Same.
Yeah, you got all that.
725, 529.
Yes. Let's go back to page 67. Was there, what, any change on the sheriff?
Yeah,
Save and then sheriff.
okay. That one, instead of, we had it at 13,775.
Mm-hmm.
It's now gonna be 16,843. That's an increase of 3,068. And the total on that I have is 80,162.
I have, and Matt. All right, so over to the jail, page 69.
Right, this one was at 61,928.
Mm-hmm.
That technically needs to be at 92,635.
What was it, sorry?
92,635.
So that is an increase of 30,707. And she had some, discrepancy on, like, she would always call the, insurance person to get figures for what she needed for, like, single or spouse or child or whatnot. Anyways, her numbers, I think she had either, you know, for whatever reason, she didn't have the right numbers, okay? And so anyways, me and her sat down together, we went through this, she went back to payroll, she figured out her exact people, and we sat down together and we did it, so we feel better about these totals now in here, that they're more true to what they should be.
Well, good. Good thing. So that's it for the lit
And
insurance.
that makes that 826, 844.
826, 844. Yep. Okay. So, correct me on this if I'm wrong, Tanya. So that means that, so the number we all left here with, that we had, I keep calling it like our money to play with.
Well, do we wanna figure out do you want your total on the lit?
Yeah. Just double check.
Yeah, so that was is that 141, 398?
Well, what it comes to, like, let's go from the 1,020,925 that we started with.
Okay.
Take off what we actually cut, which is 861,257. But then we have to account for the additional revenue in the grant from the prosecutor's office. So we had an additional 18,270 of additional revenue that we were gonna, account for, which then brings us to the 141,398
Okay.
amount that I had given you.
All right. And I know I emailed council earlier this morning, with those numbers, so everyone had them, hopefully preparing for what we were going to walk into today, so,
So that 141, 398 is current,
Needed.
is
Mhm.
current.
Mhm. Yes. And that's what, like I said, Lisa went back through hers and figured hers and then, and
So what's
Nancy
our
and I worked on
estimated-
hers,
well,
so.
so another thing we want to factor in is of that 257, 103 that we left here with at our last meeting, 23,500 of that, we have to add to that because that's the savings from the insurance line in 911 communications. So that makes that number
But can we,
280,603.
but can we stay at lit for 1 second?
Yeah.
What is our actual estimated lit for next year? For revenue, like what do we expect to bring for number?
Okay, the amount is 3,493, no, I'm sorry, that was the amount that was requested, I apologize. The amount will be 2,472,867.
So that is that number, okay, I just wanted to double check that.
Okay,
But that doesn't count the 18,270, does it?
no.
Okay.
That's why I manually accounted for that just now.
This is plus 18,270.
Mm-hmm.
18,270. So the total is at the 2,491,000?
Yeah, so 2,491,137.
Yes. In our book, our total lit is 2,632,535. So,
Or 141,398, okay. Just double checking those two. All right. So we need to find 141,398 out of lit.
Becky, what's the current balance in the public safety?
$1,436,658.
The point of asking a question, we're over budget 141,398 in lit. We've been over budget at least the last couple of years. We have a balance, we don't use, the lit balance we don't use for cash flow because lit comes in monthly, is that correct? So it just sits there. So if we are some number of thousands of dollars over budget, it reduces that 1,436,000 by that amount. Plus, we may get, we don't know, but we may get lit some supplemental. This year was 135,000 roughly. Next year it might be half that, we don't know, but we will more than likely get something. We can't budget for it, but we will more than likely get something. So my point being, I don't think we need to find exactly $141,398 and bring lit into absolute balance.
So right now, if you take the actual number from the sheet we received like earlier in budgets, the lit legal length piece of paper, said our actual was 2,332,261. If I subtract that balance of 1,436,658, that leaves us with 895,603 for the rest of the year.
Wasn't following it in that. Were you calculating?
this was our actual for 23,
Right.
subtracted our current balance.
Yeah.
And got a number, 895,603.
The three more monthly.
Three more
installments.
payments. Oh, you're saying the 3 more months coming in.
Well, the amount though that I have for you here includes all the months. It includes through December.
Okay,
But Becky's current balance,
Balance would be as of current.
Is-
But that is a lump sum of all 4 departments, right? And each department kind of
Just all
works.
cash.
Yeah, and each department kind of works separately as far as their expenses go.
but you're going to get 3 more monthly installments.
That's correct.
so is that or is that not figured in?
No, it is not.
The balance that, well, she's talking about the balance. I'm talking about the overall, yes, this includes December, all the way through December. The amounts I put for actual, that includes the monthly payments that equal the grand total for the year. So the actual
And
is
it's
the
always-
actual for the year.
Right, so that, I mean, that, if what Bill says is or if what you're saying is we don't need to balance that number.
Well, last year they were $337,000 over budget. Year before, $128,000 over budget. We can do better than those, and I think we should. But to my mind, it's not important. It's important to balance the general fund. It is not important to balance lit to the penny.
I know. I think part of the problem, I know, the reason that we even realized we were over budgeting is when we started working on trying to find funds for the prosecutor's budget back in March. And that's when Donna brought it to our attention that we had been doing it, we needed to nip that in the bud. Because we only get so much money. And then if we can't spend it, this is a lot of salary line items that are in these accounts. And so I know tomorrow we're going to have a surprise addendum to the addendum to transfer Becky, I think it was about 3,000, no? Oh, okay, so it's gonna be a larger amount. Okay. How many?
30.
Okay. But we're in a situation that we're going to be in the red if we don't pass this tomorrow.
But it's a transfer, not a,
Correct.
well, it doesn't change the balance.
No, I'm just saying we need to be mindful of our lit money, that's all.
Yeah, because the transfer's coming from health insurance, so that's something else we need to take into consideration probably, is where it's coming from. She's just lucky enough to have it there, really, I guess.
Which we won't, might not have next year. Personally, I would still feel comfortable trying to shore up lit, but that's my 2 cents. How the rest of you feel?
What does it take to run lit on an annual basis?
Right here. Roughly, it's the summary sheet. You get that? Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the total numbers. So he was saying last year they were over 337, 128, but we still have $1 million balance. Plus we're taking in 3 more months, so there's consistently money there
For now.
for now.
And when she's looking at the balance, that's for all 4 of the departments that are in that balance. So you've got all of them added together for that balance. So one department could run short, where another one might not. Is that the best way to explain it?
It's not like it's one fund.
Mm-hmm.
It is one fund, but there's different departments, right? So, yeah.
That's an excellent way of thinking.
Eugene? Yeah. For 2022, we know what was budgeted, we know what was brought in. How much was actually spent? And how accurate was the budget, I guess? I'm trying to follow along with, we're over budgeting, but how much money are we actually spending compared to what we're actually budgeting? And back to what President Piper said, I would like to get lit shored up a lot better than 141,000 over budget. But I'm also with Bill, I don't have to do it to the exact penny. And I think we've got some other decisions that are coming up to general that's gonna have an effect on lit. We may not be able to make this decision right now until we figure out what we're gonna do at our next step.
I think that's what Jim's asking too, is what are we actually spending a year?
Last year we spent 2,058,78. It's a weird number. We spent almost as much as the revenue came in. The revenue was 2,266,857. Spent 2,059,058.
But even though it was over budget, in actuality, we underspent by a little bit.
But there's still 1,140,356 and then we close out the year.
But there probably is every year, right?
Oh, we was trying to have.
Yeah.
How much was there when we closed out 22?
1,140,356.
Really?
The impacts to lit for some of the ideas that have been thrown around, whether it's jail or prosecutors, those, if there's blanket makes on some of those things, it's gonna raise that number.
Which then lowers what we have left to work with.
So,
The
Essentially.
prosecutor wouldn't.
Well, not what you're,
yeah, not
Your
yours, but if
suggestion.
there was any salary movement. But not,
The prosecutor would be out of general.
I think,
Quite a few of the correctional officers would be out of it.
mm-hmm.
I think that, the last time we met, Eugene, you indicated that you'd like to see around $80,000 of that.
Well, that's when the number was 82,880.
But we can still,
eyeball it.
well, if we split the 141 in half, I mean, if that would be acceptable to people, or we could go with the 80,000, I mean, we're just kind of kicking tires on that amount right now, 10,000, 15,000, whatever, but looks like the pleasure of the board is that we do something to, reduce that 141.
I know, Bill, I mean, would you be happy at 100,000?
I'd be more comfortable at half, 70,000 and change.
It's the recording.
You hearing echo, is that what you're hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Louis,
I'm sorry, Bill, say that again, I was distracted.
I'd be happier at 70 and about what Jim said, about half of the,
Half?
Sit down here.
thank you.
If that helps. You wanna make that 70?
Well, if we make it 70, Bill, does that factor into some of the conversation that you've had as well with some of the council members?
yes, it would. Subject to if we do anything with correctional officers, again, some of those are paid out of lit, and we'd have to rejigger it a little bit.
What do we want to figure somewhere around that $70,000 number, and then move on and see where we're at as we move forward?
That's fine, change it to 70.
Half was 76.
So we're taking 70 out of
Our,
195 on page 71, which is, labeled sheriff's pension. And moving that over to page 14, sheriff, line 195, which is called merit board pension, but it's the same pension. That decreases the lit overage, and it also decreases the under on the general fund.
So we had the sheriff's pension and council at 1 million, we're gonna take 70 grand off of that,
yeah,
so 930. Adding it to, what was it again?
Okay, so, just so I'm straight, we're taking 70,000, like, instead of needing 141,398 on lit, public safety, now we need 71,398. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
and
my
we're not
understanding.
worried about leaving that, so we're gonna take that 70,000, and you said go to page 14, merit board pension?
Yes.
Okay, so I had that at 389,218, so you wanna reduce that?
so we're
increase
increasing
that?
it.
Okay.
We're
all right.
reducing out of county council lit the line for sheriff's pension by 70,000. And then we're adding that into the sheriff's budget.
Which makes it,
So 459,218 is what you're looking at on that line?
Yes.
So that makes it what, 459,218, is that what we said?
Yes.
Which then I have a new total. Matt, did you get 4,313,193 for the sheriff?
That's what I got.
For the sheriff?
Yeah.
His,
They get four.
you need a refresher pivot probably.
I know, what line am I looking at?
Sheriff?
Oh, total, yeah,
Mhm.
4313193.
What was the last three digits?
4313193.
Thank you.
All right, so then if we take the 257,103 from last week, add in the 23,500 from the insurance savings, that gives us a number of 280,603. And we just took that, now subtract that 70,000 that we moved from lit, gives us 210,603 left to work with.
Two oh nine, 205. That's 71,398.
Oh,
Took
what, we
70.
took 70, so what is the number?
71,398.
71,8. All right, so the new number is 209,205.
So in the lit end of it, are we leaving lit at 70 even? Is that what we're doing? Rather than leaving it at 71,398 or the other way?
Oh, we're leaving
No.
it at 71,398.
He added
That's what I
70,
thought.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Wait. We took 70 and put them in the pensions. We moved 70.
Right,
We're leaving 71,398.
as over budgeted.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So the
So if
amount
we,
we need
oh,
to
so,
take away is 70,000. Am I doing that right?
well, I guess if, I take that back. If we're keeping lit over budget, then
Right.
this doesn't matter.
Right.
I,
Okay.
the difference,
Oh,
because we're, yeah, we're
well, that's
leaving
right,
it,
yes.
yeah,
So we're really at the 28603.
603.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Listen. Keep straight over here.
Yeah, I'm writing numbers.
Me too.
Figure it out later.
Really?
No, we got it.
Okay. All right.
All right, so I think we got a good starting point with those. I want to make sure and confirm that we at least say it out loud. I know I talked to Tanya, but Jane, you can confirm this too, the 7,500, we are not taking from 23, correct? Correct.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Okay. Cool. And then I want to make sure, I know the sheriff had emailed all of us about the employees that changed role titles. I know some of us think that we already had made that change, but I guess I want to make sure I confirm that we did or did not. I thought we did.
Give a page on that, please.
That's what I'm trying to find. Nancy, do you know what page that's on? Sheriff starts on page 12. Okay.
I know of is what we just did.
And they're talking about personnel changes.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what you guys are talking about on that.
Yeah, so in our pre-budget meeting, Tony talked about it, and then they spoke about it, at the beginning of the budget. And Tony, do you mind coming up and refreshing everyone's memory on, or Nancy, or both, or? Okay,
Can you copy Becky and I on that so that we can change our records?
For 23, right? Not right now.
it's for 24.
24. Yeah, so I was asking to change our rank structure, which moved one corporal, which is the lowest, promotion, it's your first promotion from patrolman to corporal, to move one corporal position up one rank to sergeant, and then just above that, to move one lieutenant up one rank to captain. But she'll have to get you the two names, because we did include those with the 24 budget, a person going to each of those. But I can't do that without, if you don't approve anything else in the 24 budget as far as, pay raises or anything like that, that's kind of built in, because we had included one person going up from corporal to sergeant and one person from, lieutenant to captain. So if you're doing it separate, then that's fine. She'll just get you the names of those.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that if that was something, for some reason, some of us were thinking that we had already made that decision to do that, but,
Well, I don't know if it makes it easier, but like I said in my email, when our deputies get promoted, and it doesn't matter what rank it is unless they go all the way up to chief deputy, but those first four ranks I'm talking about, it's $2,275 per rank. That's a flat rate. So if you're only talking about bringing two people up, the number's the same, no matter who they are, how long they've been there or anything. If they go up a rank, it's $2,275.
and you said there's two
Talked
people.
about that, but I don't have anything circled.
I know, that's same.
Well, we didn't, if we based the budget off of 2023 figures, then we didn't take that into account.
Yeah,
That's correct. So we're talking about $4,550 plus FICA per.
Which 4550 for the FICA would equal 341.25, and PERF would equal 509.60. add that to the 4550.
Do you do
total.
perf for deputies?
Oh, no, you're right. So
All right.
4550 plus FICA would be a total of 4,891.25.
So round that up, 48.92.
Yeah,
Where's that go?
48.92.
Yeah.
If we were to do that, it goes into the sheriff's budget.
Under one of these bodies? We don't,
Two bodies. FICA and FICA goes under the FICA line, but the perf, I mean, good grief, the person, they'd have to get back to us and let us
Right.
know who those two people are on here, but,
Two lines.
but it's just two lines, so.
I'm all right with it.
I'm all right with that as well.
Thank you.
Council, the rest of you?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Ask is,
tracking.
I just added another column, another row,
Okay.
and pull the formulas up.
And you put in what?
And they don't have perf, so it's just gonna be
48.92?
45,550 in the first.
lieutenant to captain. That what it was? Yeah. Right, that's right. Hey, Tone, Sheriff, did you say it's, one of them's corporal to sergeant, and then the other one's lieutenant to captain? Okay,
48.98, well, I got 8.98.
Oh, yeah, that's it, so I wanna make sure,
She's calculating FICA.
yeah. Cause I had a different percentage, like, I get a different number.
Tanya, what are you calculating FICA at? What percent?
7.5.
7.5, okay, I had 7.65,
Am I doing it wrong?
7.65.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like doing
That's why all of us do the numbers together. You're welcome.
So that makes 348,
Uh-huh.
round to 348, so 348, and the 4550, we have an amount of 4,898.
4,898 is the actual, did you already get that?
$4,898, yep. All right.
Did you guys get 4248091
For what?
for a new total on sheriff?
Oh, I guess I can add a line to,
I didn't do it in the computer, I just kind of hand did it on my book.
I'll just, write it next to it for another column for now.
I'll just create a,
If I had a
Row.
total, it would be 4,318 and $85. No?
and
Yeah, I need to.
Hang on. Alright, so what did we say that number was for
318,091.
That's what I got,
We're 31808.
091.
Oh, is that,
You just add the 4313,193 to the 4898.
oh, I put 4892. Sorry.
And
I'm going for my accounting degree after this.
what line is FICA on? I don't see FICA for the sheriff.
Well, that would be in with the commissioners.
Oh, so we need to add that 3,
So really, we don't want to add the whole amount. This,
no,
we would want to separate those out.
So 45.5, what is it,
4550
50?
in the sheriff's budget.
Yeah.
4550 and add the,
Okay, got
348.
yeah. To the commissioner's FICA.
At the bottom and just.
Just the total. Back on the
I know,
page
okay.
with that paper you gave me.
Commissioners. This.
What's the new total in the, sheriff's place?
I got 4317743.
Yes.
All right, so we add the 3. So that new FICA line in the commissioners, I have 1,269,407. What was the number you had, Matt, for the sheriff now? 3.
317,743.
Refresh. I added that line, yeah, and I didn't fill out the stuff for the pivot.
So, but for now, I'll take that later.
You get 1269407.
Yes.
I can get in here and change. Okay.
All right, so yeah, 4317743. All right.
So I have a new total on the commissioners of 458.
No.
No?
But then again, you know what, I bet I need to fix their insurance, because my computer was rebooting last week. So what was the commissioner's health insurance final number?
I have tell me if you have the same, Becky, 3,169,650.
3,169,650.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was what I was missing.
Becky, did you say, or was it Tanya, that said 11,434,458 on the commissioner's total?
What she said, but she didn't, Jessica didn't.
Yeah, I have 11,433,458, so I'm off 1,000.
434, yeah. Is that what you got?
But maybe there was 1,000 somewhere I didn't get.
Commissioner total
Mm-hmm.
with the 348 added, right?
Did you take if you're using my spreadsheet, you need to put the new insurance
I didn't
number.
change the table.
Okay,
I didn't change the table. But I started with 11,682,710. You started.
wrote a note.
Want me to go line for line with you, or look?
I'll find the 1,000 later. I'll just
Okay.
I'll make a note. I mean, that's pretty small. We can do that later. All right, we're pretty good with that. All right, ladies, are we good with that? All right, let's move on. I know,
Take that 4550 away from our number, right? Our 28603.
yeah, that leaves us 275,705.
What do you say?
275,705, taking 4,898 from the 28. Somewhere. Yeah,
I'm way
yeah.
down the road.
I'll keep in blanks and adding as I go.
Should have done that
275,
too, but
705.
Yeah,
I wish I could copy this now. So we're currently at 45. $275,705.
Yep. all right. I know Fred has to leave. He's got a deadline, so we want to discuss communications. Based on conversations I've had, I feel like we all want to do something, so. I'm asking council. We know Fred wants to discuss. We know that. We know Fred wants to discuss. I'm asking council about where your thoughts are. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I asked a question earlier today, actually, about the operating balance. And we're starting at 6 million, even though our balance is a little bit higher than that, it is 6 million that we're measuring from, right? And Tanya explained to me that, particularly at the beginning of the year, that's when those funds are utilized typically, correct?
Well, we have our insurance premium due,
Insurance premiums.
and it comes out prior to receiving settlement, because county gets paid at, settlement time. Now, we do what's called an advance draw for a certain percentage of that settlement in May. And I basically was hustling to get that done, to get the money in and deposited in order to cover, payroll, and after paying out that insurance premium. It just kind of always happens like that.
And is that why the balance never seems to move, because we get those advanced draws?
And that's why that's why, Ryan, you would have seen it go up, probably, I'm gonna guess, in May. Or it could have been, it would have been in May, because that advanced draw would have been deposited and therefore we see it go back up.
And then the balance for tomorrow, Ryan, is 6.324. So it's down from whatever you're referencing.
Well, and I also to Tanya's point when she was explaining this to Matt and I earlier, the reason she was really hustling is because we would have been in the red. And we've been working so hard to not borrow, which, you know, because of our 2020 budget, which we did in 2019, before the pandemic. We were all so proud of ourselves for getting to the point where we started a year without having to borrow. And then the pandemic hit and everything else happened. We hadn't planned for that, but we did go into the 2020 year without borrowing, and we've been able to do that ever since. So I'm not comfortable cutting that balance, but, that's where I stand on that. Gentlemen,
As far as I go, I haven't been doing this long enough to tell you, you know, in and out as far as like on a monthly and a yearly and that sort of thing, but that was the figure that Donna knew and Donna went with, and I trust that figure based on the information she always gave,
Well,
so.
and you had a valid point, which was, we keep raising, salaries increase, expenses are increasing. That balance is, 6 million's been how many years, how many years has it been?
couple now, it's not been that long.
So so I was trying to ask the same question Ryan was, which is, can we look at carving out of that? But I would agree that safety net is necessary. But what if your truck broke down? What happens then? What happens if your truck broke down? What happens then to your $600?
Same difference.
But it is the same difference, to Jim's point. I mean, we're just talking about a bigger government than, the $600 example you're using, so it's probably about the same, honestly, but I think where he's getting, I think he's finding is confusing is, Matt, that paper that we get every month.
Yeah.
Can you show Tanya so she knows which one
Oh,
we're
I
talking
know, I
about?
have to
Okay.
send them to him.
Okay, oh, that's right. And so that's, I think where the confusion falls, just because that number has looked like it's over 6 million all the time, but,
I think we run closer, like you're seeing it on a monthly basis. There's things that happen within the month in the bookkeeping department that could fluctuate more so than seeing it just at the, I don't know how I wanna word that,
Yeah,
but
well,
I mean. when
maybe
you're-
you'll need
when
to
you're-
come in, Ryan, and have a sit down.
When you're making payrolls. That's kind of what I'm saying, yes, yes.
Yeah,
We see more in and out on a daily that you're not gonna see, I guess, on a monthly, if that makes any sense. Okay, good, because that's more Becky than me, and I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but she says yes, so.
I think the State Board of Accounts, there's an expectation that you're gonna maintain a cash balance. I don't know if they issue a guidelines. $6 million is right at 17% of our 2023 general fund budget, which does not seem to me to be an excessive amount.
Well, we also don't have a rainy day fund either. That many counties seem to have.
Addison County just fully funded their sheriff's pension out of their operating balances. to the tune of $15 million in their that they could give away out of their operating balances. So we're not working with a lot here. Well, that's what we were starting to talk about now before Fred had to leave. I was trying to figure out where everyone stood on the 911 request, which is a $3,000 raise, for 29 employees out of the county general fund. Now, I know I had talked to Dan, since he was unable to attend today, and I know he feels pretty passionate about making sure we do something because of, Fred worked with us and came with like a 3-year plan to get these salaries up, and we told him at the time, I mean, we did the 3,000 last year, but depends on if we have the money, right? So we're in a position now where we have a little bit of money to work with. So I think we all have different numbers on what we'd like to do here, but I'm pretty sure we all want to do something, so.
Fred, how much money did you come back with this,
On the health insurance or
No, he
total
had-
altogether?
he brought money back to us this year, if I'm not
Oh.
mistaken.
So with the Muncie contract, we brought in an additional $200,000 this year that wasn't budgeted last year. We also gave back 94,000 out of the last budget cycle. What I talked to Jessica about and a couple of you the other day was we came up with $23,000 in savings on the health insurance line because that was something that was overlooked. So I asked for 87,000, which is the 3,000 for the 29 employees. You subtract that 23,000, I'm really only asking you for 64,000 to fund the second year of the raises.
How does your budget look with the numbers that we've already looked at? Do you foresee the possibility of having additional funds to give back next year?
I think at the end of this year, I will have a surplus in my 2023 budget. I can't tell you what that number is. Last year it was 134,000. So at the end of 2022, I gave back, in addition to the 94,000, I gave another 134,000 back that we didn't use. I expect that we're gonna have a surplus this year as well. I just can't tell you what it is because I don't know what our overtime numbers are gonna be through the end of the year.
Any projection on income over budget, next year? I mean, that's.
No, I budgeted $1,025,000, which is the Muncie contract. The difference is in 2023, in this current year budget, last year I only budgeted $800,000 when I did my budget. So we got an additional $200,000 this year that was never part of the revenue projection for 2023. I used a little bit of that in January when I came back for the hiring bonuses and the increase in the part-time thing. But the county benefited to the tune of about $150,000 off the Muncie contract this year.
Now that you're fully staffed, correct?
On paper we are, but we still have 6 people in training, so I don't count them.
So your budget line item for overtime should go down next year.
I expect it'll actually be more than the 80,000 because we still have to account for everybody's time off. We have 37 people, well, 35 people for practical purposes, but they all get considerable amount of time off. I think one of the ways that we'll save in overtime is when these people are off training, we'll have better shift staffing so that if somebody does take a vacation or calls in sick, we don't have to mandate the coverage. I think that's gonna be the big difference. I don't
Happier employees.
think we're gonna spend under 80,000 next year, which is what I budgeted. In fact, it may even be more than that.
Okay, so you currently have 29 employees on staff, correct?
In general fund.
General fund, there's 30 in general fund, 30.
Well, you and then.
Nope.
Oh,
In-
no, you're only,
That supervisor is in general fund as well,
Right.
but that's already incorporated into my budget for
Yep.
next year. There's 29 dispatchers that are paid for out of general fund. So those 29 dispatchers plus the one supervisor are all paid for out of the general fund. There's always been 30 positions. Actually, there used to be 31 positions that were paid for out of general fund, but they cut one. And it was never replaced, which was why one of the reasons I tried to get it back this year. But obviously that got cut in the first round. Yeah, Ryan? Yeah, it's $1,025,000. So this year we got $1 million. I mean, so yeah, I guess if you're looking at it that way, 25,000 of the $3,000 raises, I'm actually covering, right? So it all depends on how you look at the numbers. I mean, I have a different philosophy than some other people do. I think that the money that we bring in on a contract is specifically for 911 services, right? We've had that conversation. Because that's why the contract was signed. And then, it gets into a philosophical debate about how that money gets spread out over the county. So I'm not gonna have that today because I've talked till I've been blue in the face before about that, so. But I guess I sent you. Correct. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. And those are hard numbers that we signed a 5-year contract, so.
And I know Ryan already expressed this once, but all of these employees did give up longevity with this
They did.
current structure.
I chose not to point that out originally, that's why I sent you guys an email last night. I mean, you and Ryan are the only two that actually remember that, right? Because that was part of the overall plan of why we did a 3-year proposal and they gave up longevity, right? So that we could do that and still make it fit into the budget. And so my point in the email was, Dan Flanagan's words, it was a gentleman's agreement, but it wasn't with you guys because you weren't here last year, right? I don't know that we would have the same discussion this year if the council was the same, because everybody remembered the whole conversation, and that's why I thought it was important that I point that out to you.
So, I mean, this whole thing has been moving, right? So every time you come in here, the number we're working with is altered. But I did come prepared to argue for at least half of what, he's asking for of the $3,000, at least 1,500 per employee, as part of this, even if we hadn't gotten to where we are now, which was basically not half, but a lot less we started with, before I walked in today than we did today, so.
I mean, I am funding, theoretically, a good portion of what I've asked for, between the 25,000 extra and the 23 from the health insurance. And for 29 people, that's not a lot of money, but by not giving them the 3,000, it puts us way further behind. And that's my fear, right? And it's also my fear that because we made the agreement that we did last year,
What's the third year of that agreement?
the third year was actually gonna be depending on the market adjustment, so there wasn't actually a firm third-year number, and so I'm glad you're doing the salary study in that respect. I think it's gonna be unfortunate, because I think it's gonna say that they're significantly underpaid, and I don't think that we're gonna be able to do the raises to bring them up to where they need to be anyway, so. But the third year was always kind of left open. Jessica can remember this. I had thrown a number of like 2,000. But it was always a movable target because it was gonna depend on where we were in the market. So there wasn't the plan set out 3,000 the first 2 years. And then we didn't know what the third year would bring. But, my most senior people gave up $2,500 last year. Now, the other thing, to Eugene's point, the other thing that we did last year as part of this was every 5 years of service, it increased $1,000 a person, right? So my most senior people that have been there 20 years make $44,000. Now, this $3,000 does not include, there are a couple employees that actually will hit that 5 or 10 year mark. I'm not worried about that this year because I'm more worried about getting them the $3,000. It actually would have been a higher number by, I think, $3,000 or $4,000 if I did those steps as well. But I'm willing to go against what I proposed last year and not worry about those steps so much, as long as we can get the 3,000 per person. like I said, they gave up a lot last year when they gave up longevity. My most senior person gave up $2,500 plus 60% added into her hourly rate. And a lot of the other people gave up anywhere between $500 and $1,500.
I received an IC code on that drainage board salary.
I wasn't saying, yeah, and I wasn't saying anything, I wasn't saying everybody else is on board, I'm just saying that's what I came prepared to do, because I thought that's where we were gonna be in terms of money. So,
And I
Open
would,
to.
I would be in agreement with that.
I would too. That's where I came in, walked through the door. That's a good starting
Why?
point for us.
Can we split it and at least do 2,000 and get us closer?
I'd
Because
be in
I've pretty
I'd be in
much
favor
funded
of that.
2,000 per person,
I think we have,
just in the contract and what I gave back in health insurance.
I would be in
So-
favor of that.
And
And
at
I
least-
think it's too bad that we can't do the full three.
I don't know how, you're a priority with me, and I think with other members of the council. The problem is that there are other priorities as well. We're all chasing the same dollars, so.
I mean,
Do you want to start at 15 and then see what our other
I'd like to see us
priorities
start at-
are and then
let's start at-
readdress?
Let's start at 2.
I'd love for you to start at 2. I mean, like I said, I pretty much funded that just out of what went back from health insurance and what we're getting extra from Muncie next year. And I
So 2,000 is a county general increase of 58,000. With the FICA and PERF figured in, that's an additional 10,933, which makes a $2,000 request, a total of 68,933. We drop that down to halfway at 1,500. The numbers are county general increase of 43,500 with a FICA and PERF increase of 8,200, which increases the county general by 51,700.
so there's only what's the difference?
17.
Right, and like I said, between what I saved in health insurance and the extra money from Muncie, it pretty much funds at least the 2,000.
With the council's permission, let's move forward with 2,000, and then at the end of the day, maybe it'll work and maybe it won't work, if that's
That's where,
agreeable.
yeah, we have to make that judgment at some point, but probably not now.
I'm fine with that.
All right,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna do 2 for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
$2,000 to start with right now, and we may revisit it depending on when we get to a bottom line number.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm not gonna do mine in the computer yet, I just have it on paper here.
That's
so-
fine, yeah. There's no reason to do that right now. Targets are still, goalposts are still moving.
So is the amount you're looking at then, are we down to 136,772?
Hang on a second, I'm sorry, let me, I can tell you this.
206.
So right now, we're at $2,045 for the sheriff, right? 206,772 is what I have.
Same.
So are we not taking 70,000 out?
70,000. No,
That was out of lit.
we're leaving that.
We're leaving the entire 141,398.
No, we're leaving the 71 balance, the 71,
in lit. Over budgeted by 71, whatever.
Gotta take that other 70 and put it in the sheriff's number,
Yeah.
Right.
so that would reduce that.
we're gonna be over budget on lit, 71,398.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So our starting needs to drop from 280 to 210.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, it does.
205,703.
Oh,
136, 772.
With the
oh, it
sheriff,
is 70,000 that's coming off the top.
Sheriff Franks.
Because instead of taking it and
Oh,
filling it
and the
all in
sheriff.
the lit, we're taking some of it and putting it in pinch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay.
All right, so for the additions into county general, got 136, 772. Is that what you got?
No, hang on a minute.
Well, just what we're working on is how much we started with. Just going down, not on his.
See what you got.
So starting.
So we're taking the 71,398 off. I thought we were just taking the 70.
No, that's just the 70 out of this. That 280, reduce it by 70. Up one. That's
Oh.
that's what we're over budgeting with, which means nothing now on.
Well, no, I'm not at 71,398. So it's 209, 205. Still different than what you had. It was working all right. All right, I made a big deal.
Communication.
All right. We're starting at 286,03.
No,
No.
210, 70,000 now.
Okay.
We're going to be coming in lit over. at
Rick, are you here?
71,398.
Mm-hmm.
That next number, just get rid of it. We're
Yeah,
not
Rick's over there.
worried about that.
I do now.
We're just working from the 210.
Yep, so just get rid of that.
Sorry,
Let him go back to sleep.
All right, so then you're.
What we doing?
Tell me where you're at in regards to the printers. I think we took those out of your line item.
Yeah, we took those out of the 2024 budget. I have put them into the request in tomorrow's finance meeting, or the council meeting. I went to finance, and I'll be buying them out of funds that I currently have,
Oh, okay,
election budget. But it's not in your 2024 now.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, for sure, it's formula. All right, we're all on the same page. We got 136, 772 to work with. All right, anyone else? What's the next wish? Vice President,
Prosecutor,
Prosecutor.
you're up.
I've reviewed the correspondence from our prosecutor for last year and this year, including email we all received over the weekend. I can't come to any other conclusion except that there's a compelling case for additional staffing, and prosecutors would like to put that in a deputy prosecutor position. I know it's a big chunk of money, with FICA and PERF and the possibility of a family plan insurance. We're talking about $126,000. That eats up a big chunk of what we're looking at. But, prosecutor's words, it's a critical need, and I would have to agree. I did not practice criminal law at any time, but I'm familiar enough with the type of work that they do and the stress that's on those folks, week after week with trials that, I think it's a county need. I think it's something that we have to seriously consider funding.
Does that include the build out Bill?
I did not include the build out, what went through my mind is, I bet we've got a lot of desks sitting around and probably some computers that still would function, and that's not ideal, but, to me, that's kind of the least of our worries. I think we can talk to the commissioners and see what could be done to adequately provide for that.
What would the health insurance number be for,
Do we max at that 25 number? Oh, no, we'd add the 2% into the insurance. Or,
Yeah, but what is it for family? What number did you use?
I just used 25, I couldn't remember, I didn't have my sheet. in
I
front of
don't
me.
have my insurance sheet with me.
Anybody know what a family plan is?
but then we need to add, multiply it by,
One twenty-six included insurance and.
it does, I wanna know what the actual breakdown is.
Oh, okay,
yeah, I'm trying to,
five, right,
Mhm.
starting point.
Portion of month.
Oh, you know what? I got Lisa's email here. So she has family, the new position I told you she'll need to fill. And she's kind of estimating, oh, they might get family. The amount is 23,580.
Okay, so,
that's the new number? With the 2% increase?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So it's 129,047.
Oh, yeah, plus the two, well. That 23,580 on your email include 2%? It does. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, I get 130,545. Is that what you guys got?
I got
for-
129,047.
where'd you get that?
85,000 plus the FICA of 6,503, perf of 9,520, 101,023 would be the total salary, total.
I was figuring on 90,
No, 85,
85, okay, yes, because
Would be-
that's what we did with others, okay.
124,603.
Oh, then,
We gotta add the,
oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. This, took the FICA in there, sorry. 124,603, yeah. 124,603,
yeah, I'm getting a different number. I'm getting a different number.
Yes.
23,580.
I got 85,000.
FICA and perf out of that line,
Wait, there is no FICA and perf?
not for the insurance, if you have. any
No,
insurance.
oh, for the insurance. Sorry, you're right, delete. 124,603. That leaves us with 12,169. We could call it a day.
Well, with all due respect to Counselor Webb, there's only one position that's not filled, not two. I have an interview to fill that position. second of all, why I understand and I agree to not grow, government. I may be a Democrat, but I'm not a fan of growing government. What are you gonna do when crime increases? What are you gonna do when you have 47 more murders and we don't have enough prosecutors to prosecute them?
Yeah, this isn't a population,
This is not a population issue. What kind of, economic development are you gonna have in Delaware County when murderers and rapists and robbers are going around because we can't prosecute them?
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
just what it's
the,
at. That's
that's
where
the
we're at.
challenge here, right? Because, I mean, none of us really want to grow government, but I can say that where we have added positions, like this is public safety, it's not,
Would
Correct.
you be opposed to the salary increases of your existing prosecutors versus a new position?
Well, that's kind of an egg and a chicken thing, because if, I do have a open spot, so, I mean, retention and adequate staffing, I think, go hand in hand. I can tell you right now that they are so overburdened, so the workload on the deputy prosecutor is so much that we use statewide, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but we use the public defender study, okay, their caseload caps, and according to that, we should have 16 more people. I've asked for 2. So 16.
Devil's advocate to the
I understand, I don't
question.
think there's devil play here. If you look at most counties, the elected prosecutor doesn't try cases. I do. I go into the court, I just got done with a week-long murder trial. It took me 2 weeks of doing nothing but that case, and that case alone to prepare for trial, go into court, try it. Okay? That's 3 weeks out of my time. So what did I do in the off time, in the off hours at home? I went home, I have 3 children, I'm a single father, and I did this budget crap, okay? Most elected prosecutors don't do it. They sit behind a desk and they supervise. I don't do that. I get into the trenches for many reasons. Number one, I like it. Number two, it's needed. If I didn't, I don't know what we do.
what is your
And I didn't
pleasure?
threaten anybody to go to court. I said, Ryan, there's a statutory duty in the law that says the county council shall fund in an amount that's reasonable so the prosecutor can, run his office. That's the law. I'm sorry, you disagree with the law, but that's the way it is.
What was the answer to that question that Councilman?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
what was that question again, Eugene?
Matt asked, I think, whether you'd rather have raises or another deputy prosecutor. And the
That's
numbers
a
in
hard,
front of me both don't look possible.
that's a
No.
hard, that's a difficult question. Probably another prosecutor, because I don't know how much longer some of them can go with the workloads they have. When you're talking about, I mean, it's easy to look at it on paper. When you look at the public defender caseload study that you guys have adopted for years, okay, that's the gold standard. Using that overlay on our cases, we're 16 short. 16. That's huge.
What's the difference?
The salaries would be
Salary increases would be cheaper
35,655.
versus the 124,603.
Well, that's for just general lit, we'd have to make an off balance of 1782, so there'd be a little fluctuation.
The other thing, with all due respect to Councilman Webb and several others, I was told in March to come back here and ask for 2 positions, and that's what I'm doing. So, you did say that. So you told me to do it, so I don't want to hear any argument about growing government, because you told me to do it.
He got you on that one, Ryan.
Yeah, you're going to.
So your request is the additional prosecutor, would be your preferred.
My request, as in the email, was the raises and additional prosecutor. If I absolutely have to pick, would be the additional prosecutor, knowing full well that next year I'll be up here asking for more. I mean, you just can't overlook a study in the law that says you have to do what's reasonable, and you're understaffed by 16, and I'm asking for 2. I think there's every court in this state, from the trial court to the Indiana Supreme Court, will say, oh, 2 is definitely reasonable. when the study says 16.
Well, under the budget constraints that we are faced with, one is what is reasonable from this side of the bench. And I stand by my recommendation. I appreciate what Councilman Webb has to say, but that's sort of theoretical. We don't want to grow government. We don't, want to have additional employees that aren't needed, but this is real world, and I think it is definitely a critical need. So I'm in favor of it.
I would be as well.
I am as well.
I'm saying that again, I'm sorry.
I would support what Bill just said.
I'm sorry, I
Did you
didn't
repeat
hear.
it?
An additional prosecutor, deputy prosecutor.
I agree.
One.
One,
We don't have the money.
All right, well, if this is where we agree with $2,000 for the dispatchers, that $45.50 for the two individuals in the sheriff's department to get their promotions, and then an additional prosecutor at 85 with a family plan, figuring all the FICA perf and whatnot, oh goodness, and whatnot. That leaves us with like $12,000. I think we can be done and close it out.
I get 22,000.
Got 12,169.
That's what I got.
Fred, what was Fred's number?
I don't
No,
know,
the
total with raises like,
68,933.
68, okay, you're right.
Okay.
We're at 12.
Okay.
That's,
Bill, you look frustrated.
he wishes he had more money.
Yeah, I need more money.
yeah, so do I.
The other priority I had was, Sheriff's comments about the correctional officers that did not really receive what everyone else received last year because of the comparison with Anderson.
Yeah, that was on my list.
He suggested 750, that's not possible.
I'm gonna use that, Bill, how many people?
70,
58 in county general, 13 in lit.
I also feel like we kind of went through, like, we started at 1 and then 2, and we both said yes, and now we're like at 3 and 4, and we're not even gonna have a discussion about it because we're out of money. So I don't know that that's fair either.
I
That's my
mean,
opinion.
if we go back to that $1,500 number, we're at 29,403,
Which is still not enough.
correct?
And I will add, if we were to, like, this amount of change I can do, but I'm leaving for conference and our adoption is for Friday. So if you guys decided, like, across the board stuff or whatever, added a whole bunch of more employees that everything needed figured on, that would take her and I a lot more time to do, which we don't have. So the adoption date would have to be moved.
Oh, no, there's no way. We have, if we keep where we are right now, giving the dispatchers 2,000, we have $12,169 to work with. So.
No, it was,
750 was the ask for the correctional officers. Uh, 51,700 in county general and 11,588 in lit. Yeah.
Plus, like,
Exactly.
Plus FICA and per.
I have FICA and perf in here.
we could do like 200, is about all, I think.
100. Now, if we're starting to work on these employees, and then we're agreeing also to push this adoption date back a couple weeks.
I mean, all fairness to Tanya, I understand that's a total pain in the ass, but I don't think we cut. I mean, I don't think that's our decision,
That's
to
fine.
be honest. Just, I know it's a.
No, I'm
it's
just
like,
letting you know, honestly, it
Yeah.
would have to be pushed back, because
Yeah.
there's no way with me leaving for conference that I could get that done and finalized by Friday.
That requires to just re-advertise.
We would have to re-advertise, all the places we posted it before, it would have to be reposted with the new date. And it would need done within 48 hours prior to that new meeting.
And do we notify DLGF or they don't care?
That's who gave me that information, so.
So if we did
You could do 250,
250, what is that?
597.
Say, but I didn't say.
I know.
25 by 26.
I mean,
Sheriff, you wanna say something?
I
I
mean,
would like to say something, yeah.
$750 is about 20.
I know everybody would get up here and talk, if you allowed them, but, I know there's 12,000 left or whatever. 2 weeks ago when I came up here and, you know, volunteered my state mandated pay raise back, as long as no other county general employees got raises, that's happening. I'm not gonna stand up here and ask that back, but, you know, if you go to the 1,500 for communications or 1750, whatever, the corrections officers did get shafted last year. And so if you want to take that 12 or whatever else you can find and distribute that, I think that's more than fair. You know, they generate revenue. They generate true revenue. It's not contracted revenue, by watching bad guys every day. I could cut that spigot off and, you know, the prosecutor makes a very compelling point that they're 16 short by their standards, before you 5 new guys were elected. We also had a personnel survey done when we moved from the old jail to the new jail, and we're 18 corrections officers short there. So, they're overworked and they're underpaid, so whatever you can find to give them, it's not enough, but it will be appreciated.
Sheriff, do the, correctional officers, do they go in your pension or do they get perf?
No, they're perf.
They're perf.
So I'll just leave that at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff, do you know off the top of your head how many that is exactly, without me having to count? Oh, who had that?
The number when I just searched through my spreadsheet, I had 58 in county general and 13 in lit.
Sheriff, any projection on your, federal?
We're up to 8 today, so that's good.
That's double what you had before.
That's double what we had last week.
Yeah.
So the magic number for next year is 20 on average, so.
And what will that do to the budget? I mean, you projected, I don't know, I forget what you projected.
But you needed 20 to meet your projection, right? Yeah. So.
Listen.
I don't like it.
Yeah, does that
Yeah.
mean that the 13 in lit aren't eligible?
Yeah, yeah, that, I like that you're working here. So Matt and I, we're playing with some numbers. So if we do push the adoption date back, and if we were to reduce the dispatch ask to 1,500, the numbers he and I came up with is we could do 400. Mm-hmm,
I'm all right with that.
Every little bit helps, as the sheriff just said.
right.
I'm not in favor of it.
What would you prefer?
I love, in a perfect world, not that we're in one, I still would like to see the, 911 at 2,000.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to see them get their full
Full
amount
amount.
that was agreed
Yeah,
on to
absolutely.
the
Right.
previous council. I'd like to see the prosecutor get his staff that he needs. Same with the sheriff.
I'm only one of one, okay? So, this, I can be in agreement, but I also, just as Ryan has done, I'd like to at least speak my piece.
Absolutely.
And, it's a tough battle. That's why we're up here not negotiating, talking about the things that we can do for more people. And I'm totally on board with that. I just hate to see us, there's just something about the commitments that were made, are not honored. And we do have the money to honor them, to honor those commitments. We may not have the money to honor, commitments that we haven't made, but we'd like to make. And so that's kind of where I'm at is, and maybe we can go back through the book and find some more money. I don't know. Now we have more, it sounds like we have more time, and I know everybody's tired of kicking the thing around, but, you know, that's kind of what we need to do maybe. Maybe we could ask the department heads to find us some more money.
Thoughts?
I mean, I'd have to see the numbers one more time, but, the 1,500 with everything and, at least 375, that's half of what correctional officers, the sheriff was asking for them. I know that would increase our lit. over
Yeah, I
budget
was
by
saying to
some.
her, I said, I don't think the lit I mean, if we're already gonna be over budget 71, I mean, is $5,000 gonna matter? Not in my opinion.
Well,
So
what
I wouldn't
about-
be concerned about the lit.
So what about, going back
6,000.
to, one of the comments that Ryan made earlier, we do have some, I don't wanna say extra money, but we do have money in the general fund. I mean, if we had to spend
You're wanting to,
In balance, you mean?
12.
Operating balance?
Operating balance, $12,000 out of that, is that something that we can't live with, or something that we can live with?
Oh, I can live with that. I mean,
The ideas are just flowing
I
out of you right now.
know.
Love it.
So then you're saying we'll reduce the operating balance by,
We just say, I think now we're at a point, I still wanna see the $2,000, for 911, and I'd like for us to come to an agreement, if we can, on the, salary, correctional officer?
For jail.
Yes.
Yeah, let's say we left it at 2,000 and we gave each of the corrections officers $400, we'd be over, or we'd be in the negative $15,404.
I can live with that. Well, but
hey, that's
at the
Starbucks.
end of the day, it is what it is, it's $15,000.
Yeah, it's a small amount when you figure in what, taxes are taken out, and it's a lot of work for our auditor's office to go, it is. But I don't know if everyone on council is aware of everything that auditor's office has to do. Once we adopt this budget and everything, not only does she have her spreadsheet,
But if
in
we,
our
fi-
book.
if we can come to agreement today.
Right, I just wanna
she
make
can
sure,
Finalize it,
right,
and it won't, we can't get together on Friday.
she won't, yeah, we'll have to push the adoption date back a couple weeks.
Which actually gives us time to renegotiate anything.
One more time?
Well, I
Well-
mean, to be honest, I mean, I feel we're all,
If we're adopting, adoption date, we don't discuss, adoption date is adoption. So,
How many employees are you talking? You're talking 71 employees, plus Fred's, plus a prosecutor, right?
Correct.
So 71 and 29 and 1 is what
101.
we have to adjust, 101. We do that on Thursday?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
honestly,
if we're not talking the whole general, you know what I'm saying?
if we're-
Yeah, if we could bust that out on because I just found out today, I thought I was going to conference through Thursday. It's through
Wednesday, okay,
So I could come back Thursday, her and I could bust that out, and then if you guys are sure on it, I mean, you got, like, you know,
All right,
be
so-
ready to finalize on Friday.
that's all we do at adoption is finalize.
I mean, I feel like we can do 101 employees. I didn't really wanna I couldn't do the whole county
Right,
general. You know what
right.
I'm saying? There's just no way. It'd be too much pressure. I'd be afraid that I wouldn't be giving myself enough time as far as one day goes. But for 101 employees, I would think that she and I could accomplish that on Thursday together, don't you?
Yeah,
And on the
that's anyway.
computer as well,
The
and then
correction.
update Gateway, so.
If you're sure of that,
And I have also Friday until 3.
right,
So,
well, team. I feel very confident if we, with the 2,000 for the dispatchers, the 45.5 for the sheriff employees, jailers, do we decide 400?
Yeah.
400, new prosecutor plus their insurance, so if we're good with that, we'll give them our blessing, but if not, this is, speak your piece.
I'm good.
I'm good. Oh, I've got one more thing to talk about.
All right,
Yay.
On the. What'd you say, Ryan?
Correct.
Is that a question?
Yes.
which
That's,
number?
that's
400.
correct.
Matt and I had 400.
Yes.
At 750, we go from being
We're not doing.
in the negative three, he's asking, I think,
Okay,
to 39,530.
pick your number.
Did you hear that, Ryan? Yeah, we'd be over 39,530.
He's just wanting to, because, well,
I mean, yeah. I agree with Ryan that if we're gonna, if we can make the effort, then we should try. Either to the operating balance, or we go try to find 20 grand that's laying around, or, you know, not laying around, but we can try to, you know, and we've done a lot of wiggling. We've done a lot of wiggling that, to me, feels like fuzzy math anyway.
well, let's come back to this, because Eugene had one more thing, so let's see what this
Let's hear
is.
what that is.
And then we'll come back.
The jump coordinator that we've decided we'd like to have, the amount that we approved, and I know it's 50%, is gonna be matched by the city. But the amount from the grant, last year, that person was paid 42,000, and we approved 46,200 for a 10% raise. I don't think there's very many employees that are gonna be getting that kind of a raise, and I think that's unjustified. I'd like to lower that amount, and then you'd have a little more dollars.
Just a few, so from 46, 200 to what? To the 40,
I'd take 4,000 out of it real fast and put it at 42.4. It's a nice round number. 42.2.
42.2.
Yeah.
What, where was that at?
it's in the court's
Page
budget.
23,
Line 166.
yeah, Department 138. Not sure what it is on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I got it. 46.2 is current.
What do you want it to be?
42.2. That way we got 4,000. I don't know how that helps going towards the COs, but I'd like to know what the real answer is from, I guess, the auditor's office on spending out of the operating monies.
Just that number, that top number that she says our operating balance is going to be, she would deduct, right, that 50, whatever it's gonna be, 15,404, right? That's all you
That's
do
at
in
the
the,
400.
that's at the 400. It would double if we go to the 750, but that's what you do, right? You just reduce that number on the portal. That's it. Well, it's still a lot of work,
Well,
but,
it'll, yeah,
yeah,
it adjusts out.
yeah. Okay. So,
I'm in favor of, I am voting, or not voting, I am, pushing that we make the 750 happen.
I agree.
So if we added in 4 grand, that would be 35,530. Yeah,
Yep. 2,000 for dispatchers.
And then whatever that adjusts the lit to, we're all
34.
acceptable with that number.
Yeah, it increases,
It increases 11,588.
I'm still back on the jump guide.
you're fine, you're
so-
fine. No, we're just more like chit-chatting.
We're just, I don't know what I would do on a spreadsheet. I'd be crying right now if I didn't have this, so I'm not sure how the rest of you are working with it.
Okay, so,
This is why I spent all the time,
I
like,
couldn't-
hours
I
beforehand.
couldn't fathom doing it without it.
do you guys want an update on the courts?
Yeah,
Page 26 has the total. I reduced that line 166 by the $4,000, and I have 2,634,222.
Don't you know?
no,
I mean,
It has to be.
I got 639, 222.
Well, before we did
643.
this, I had 2,638,222.
Go ahead.
That's what Becky had.
Oh, I'm sorry, I never changed it. You said 42.2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the number again was, 639.
2,634,222.
I have 639,222. Is that because we have to take? Is that because we have to take money out of the other ones too?
Well, it could be from our last meeting, the rescinded court order, the A
That's right.
128 reduced to 75,
Which line is that?
A 128.
A128.
Reduced to what?
75,
Okay,
that would be the 5,000 difference that you had.
that it would. 34.
Oh, that's what I was missing. Perfect.
Okay, so,
Keep forgetting my computer was not cooperating last week.
so if we were at 12,169. So if we add in the 4,000, then we're at 16,169. Now tell me what it is you guys have decided for the correctional officers.
That's what I think some of us are at 750. I have not heard, we paused until we heard what Eugene had. So where do you fellas stand now?
And if we're compromising, and we've compromised with Fred, instead of the 750, I'd go with 500. That's the same percent that we agreed or talked about agreeing with Fred.
I think that's fair,
Say that again?
500, 2/3 of,
what the ask was.
yeah.
2/3 of the ask. We gave Fred 2/3 of his ask. So he's suggesting on the jail ask to give them 2/3.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not for that. I'm for the 750.
Them going, those guys, even though the amount ended up being kind of what Sheriff Burger shouted, it was the amount that was turned in. French people was under the impression that they get up their own activity, they were gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? The reason that the COs and the fresh officers were shouted is because it's based off of Madison County, not because anyone's getting less than what they have. So I went back to the Michigan 750, something either of them do, so I think it should be 750 and, that one 1,000. Like,
So Ryan, I know you probably couldn't hear the sheriff. They also, gave up their, longevity as well. So,
Is Ryan still with us?
oh, hi, Ryan. All right, well, that, I think I'll stay at the 750 then.
I'm at 750.
You're at 750, you're at 750. Bill?
If that's the last piece of the puzzle, everything else agreed on, I could go for 750.
Been outnumbered before, I'm all right with that.
All right, I think we're good then. All right, Tanya, you ready for like final decisions? We don't need any numbers, I just want to make sure that you have the same, like,
Let me make a note real
Yep.
quick here, please. Because we've got 58 in the regular 145. And then we've got 13 in lit 145. We're doing 750.
Yep.
Correctional officers do go in regular perf, right? Correctional officers perf, right? So did you guys get a total increase for that? I mean, just for that, 63,288?
yes.
Right, so you got disconnected, but he's watching.
Okay,
You had a negative 47,119
39,530, but we had that 4,000 we added back in.
again.
35,530?
Oh, yeah,
Correct.
30,
Let
yeah,
me clear out
35,530.
I get 47,119.
All
I
right,
had 12,169 was where we were at, and then we added 4,000, making it 16,169.
mm-hmm,
take away 63,288. The negative 47,119.
How many correctional officers did you figure in the general fund, Tanya?
I had 58, and then I have 13 in the lit.
That was
No,
everyone in the
just-
jails, every employee in the,
I thought we were just doing correctional officers.
all right, so then what are, oh, yes, then maybe that's what that number is. Oh, sorry, let me go. What do you have?
Okay. Okay, I was,
Five.
I just need the number. I just know, I need to know what number I'm working with, because
How many in, yeah,
when I look in the book, I see correctional officer. That's the title. So I wouldn't know to automatically include everybody else.
Yep.
Uh,
all right,
that would totally change things.
yep, it would,
higher.
yep. Well, in the meantime, let's, while they're giving that number, I want to come down and.
Okay. Okay.
I got 53. That includes lieutenants and captains and everybody. That's just in jail for next year. Thank God. Got scared for a minute there. $59?
Instead of 58.
There's only 53 salaried line items that I see in this spreadsheet for next year.
Going by the clothing lounge, is that, but everybody gets clothing lounge.
Mhm.
Whether, they had made, all those, 59 of those.
Oh, you're talking about cooks too? I didn't have cooks. Hold on.
Yeah, I had 58 originally, so.
59.
Sorry, 58, yeah.
Oh.
That one right there.
Cook, and what is the other note?
Drop them all into one
Commissary clerk, does that count?
commissary, yeah. So it has a CO, yeah.
Who else am I missing? Matron?
Oh, 71 of them. Oh, you got your separated. And I did two
And the
together.
cook still in the CO?
No,
Just clarifying.
no. But the commissary clerk, I can move from.
Sure.
Help us out.
58.
Then you can have a second person go with you.
Well, short.
Yeah. but this
58,
stuff-
all right. That's what we started
What
with.
is that? This is my ongoing thing, that started right here, we're adding that in, taking away that, taking away three, I did it separate, it's two separate funds, and I took away that. Okay. Okay.
And these numbers now? No, we're coming over.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was about, the, different stuff for all this this building.
Oh, sorry, 35,
Yeah, all the buildings. Right.
35530.
That was the, remember we got that insurance sheet that showed the, travelers insurance
Write it down or I'll forget it.
for this year?
Oh, because you said it was like for everybody,
So it's the 8F11 sheet.
do the jail FICA. FICA first, you got a list. So it's not that you're trying to remember.
Yeah, right there, see the back page there.
1188 is the difference. Don't count it. What is
Not the whole, that's,
It's to the jail lit employees. Yeah.
Is that yes, or that's just the way it is?
That one is, yeah, that's 51,751.
Yeah, but we have it at
The
892.
other was black. For the lit side.
yeah, well, there must have been other insurance, it's not just, I don't know if that's everything, but. So that's this year's, is that this year's? Let me see. Yeah, April 18th, that's for, through March of next year. So they're anticipating it goes up again. Fire.
For the lit first, one of. Before it comes in, $350, $8,200, and $1,838, $6,288 still the total. But you don't count the lit stuff. Off this number, you mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's lit. Okay, so then you're looking at 51,700 plus the 8,200. For a total of 59,900, right? Is that for what, for sheriff? 51,700.
Second half of the year.
Oh, wait, for the jail or sheriff? The sheriff's only the 48. Well, and then, yeah. Okay, so 59,900. So the 16,169. Minus 59. 46,731. So what's it? Roll. That's different.
In the big box.
Are you still here?
I don't know what will be the next, legislative session, so who knows?
Because I got to put the 70 out for sure. 70,000. Okay, I've got mine way down here. Yeah, okay, so that's the number.
Okay.
We found it. I had that whole 51,700. Yep. That was the date. Yep. You see what I mean? Yep, I see it. Okay.
We,
Now.
so,
You probably got it. Right.
so 35, 530? We'll do 35, 530. how do we actually account for that? Do we take it out of the 200?
When she does the starting operating balance, it'll just be deducted from that number. Yeah.
Did you get 530 or 531? Cause I end up with 531, but.
530, but it may just be how my computer's rounding up. I mean, it's a buck. So I took all the cents out. And put the cents in and see what happens. It's 33 cents, so you're just rounding all the way up. My computer wasn't rounding all the way up.
Okay.
So it was rounding down. What's wrong?
Done.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I normally my rounding would be down with only 30-some cents, but at some point or another,
It's a buck.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. All right, gentlemen. We good till Friday?
We still have final adoption Friday. I will be at a family event out of town Friday. That is, the budget adoption is one of the meetings that we are not allowed to attend virtually. I will be watching in and emailing in if I have any comments or thoughts, but if I were present Friday, I would vote to adopt the budget.
You guys good? Jim?
Yes.
Eugene?
Tomorrow morning, let's go.
All right, we'll be at council in the morning. And this closes our budget hearings.